Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual. My name is Utsaf Parekh and I'll take you through the top stories of the day. We start with updates from the Israel-Hamas war. It's the 28th day of the conflict. The Israeli Defense Forces say they have breached Hamas's first line of defense and are approaching Gaza City. Roads leading to Gaza City from both the north and the south are now reportedly under the Israeli military's control. A rocket launched from Lebanon hit northern Israeli town yesterday. 2 wounded Israelis were rushed to a hospital after the attack. The Lebanese armed group Hezbollah launched simultaneous attacks on 19 different positions in northern Israel along the border. Israel has been telling citizens to evacuate northern towns since October 20th. An Israeli airstrike destroyed clusters of houses in the Boric refugee camp in central Gaza. The camp was reduced to ashes, and residents searched for survivors in a mound of rubble. Gazan officials have said now the death toll has crossed 9,000 since the October 7th Hamas attack. Meanwhile, there's an updated count on the number of hostages held by Hamas in Gaza. The number is now pegged at 242, up from the earlier estimate of 240. The updated figure was shared by an Israeli army spokesperson. He added that the offensive in Gaza was going according to plan. Israeli troops and tanks held live fire drills in the disputed Golan Heights region yesterday. The area forms Israel's border with Syria and parts of Lebanon. The region may become another front for Israel. Tel Aviv says Iran is amassing proxy forces in the Syrian part of the Golan Heights. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he hasn't made a decision on supplying fuel to the Gaza Strip. However, the chief of Israel's armed forces has signaled a willingness to ease the wartime fuel embargo on the region. This comes as hospitals in Gaza raise alarms about the depleting electricity. Last month, Israel said it would allow humanitarian aid in the region, but ruled out fuel imports. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has left for Israel. This will be his second visit to the West Asian nation since the Israel-Hamas war broke out. Before leaving, Blinken said he would discuss steps to minimize harm in Gaza. His talks will also focus on discussing ways to deter the spread of the war to other parts of West Asia. Blinken also reiterated Israel's right to defend itself. Meanwhile, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has said that the U.S. would not impose any conditions on its support to Israel. She made the comments at a press conference in the U.K. Harris said, and I quote, "We are not going to create any conditions on the support that we are giving Israel to defend itself." The White House is exploring the idea of pauses in the Israel-Hamas conflict to help civilians in Gaza. However, it added that any such temporary pause would not stop Israel from defending itself. This comes as experts from the United Nations call for a humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza amid the mounting death toll. US President Joe Biden says his country has been able to get 74 dual citizens out of Gaza. Yesterday, Egypt opened the Rafah border crossing for the first time since the war broke out. It allowed the first group of foreign passport holders and wounded people to leave the region. Biden met Chile's President Gabriel Boric yesterday. This was to boost U.S. relations with the South American nation. Biden and Boric spoke about various issues including climate change and migration. After the meeting, Boric said he also expressed his concerns regarding the Israel-Hamas war. Boric said he condemned Hamas's attack on Israel, but added that Israel's strikes on Gaza were violating international law. In other news, former U.S. President Donald Trump campaigned in the U.S. state of Texas yesterday. His speech was focused largely on oil and border security. The former president continues to lead among Republicans in the polls. Meanwhile, Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump have testified in their father's New York civil fraud case. Trump Jr. acknowledged in court that he had signed financial documents for the family company. However, he said that he relied on the company's accountants to ensure the accuracy of the documents. A New York judge had ruled that the documents were fraudulent. Pakistan will hold its delayed national elections on February 8th. The Election Commission of Pakistan announced the date after a meeting with Pakistan's President Arif Alvi. A caretaker government has been running the country since the previous administration's term ended on August 9th. In climate news, the air quality in Delhi and its nearby regions has been deteriorating with every passing day. The Anand Vihar area in Delhi recorded an air quality index of 999 yesterday. That's the worst possible air quality. The thick layer of toxic haze has prompted authorities to shut down schools in the Indian capital. India's financial hub Mumbai is also struggling with polluted air. Earlier this week, Mumbai was tagged as the second most polluted city in the world. Mumbai authorities have issued guidelines to construction sites. They've also banned the burning of garbage in the open. Storm Ciaran battered various parts of Italy. A man was found dead in his home in Prato city in the Tuscany region. Another person was reported missing. The storm had earlier killed 7 people when it hit northwestern Europe. Yesterday, a wildfire in the eastern Spanish region of Valencia forced the evacuation of 350 people. Firefighting efforts were hindered by strong winds, making aerial operations challenging. Over 34 fire crews were engaged in battling the blaze. The Valencia regional government has sought help from the Spanish military's emergency unit to control the wildfire. A record number of cranes are camping in Hungary, defying migration patterns. The birds are staying put at a national park in eastern Hungary amid a warm autumn. Usually, they make a stop at the park and then continue to migrate to Africa. There are now over 194,000 cranes in eastern Hungary's marshes. Climate change has led to this departure from the usual bird migration norms. A new UN report has highlighted how unprepared the world is for the impacts of the climate crisis. Billions of people are already affected by climate change. International funding to protect communities from heat waves, floods and droughts is currently only 5 to 10% of what the world requires. In fact, this funding has declined in recent years despite more severe extreme weather events. Now on to business and tech news. The Bank of England held interest rates at a 15-year peak in its November meeting. The policymakers voted to keep the bank rate at 5.25% for the second meeting in a row. They added that rates will likely stay in that range for a while as the bank fights high inflation. Sam Bankman-Fried, the founder of bankrupt crypto firm FTX, has been found guilty of defrauding customers. The jury convicted Bankman-Fried on all 7 counts he faced after a month-long trial. Prosecutors made the case that he stole $8 billion from the exchange's customers out of sheer greed. The FTX case marks one of the biggest financial frauds ever on record. Shareholders of Australia's Qantas Airways have voted overwhelmingly to reject the airline's executive pay plans. This was during the company's annual meeting. The vote comes as Qantas faces one of its most reputationally damaging years. It was the first time the high-profile company has received a so-called strike. Ride-hailing companies Uber and Lyft will pay a combined $328 million to settle claims by New York's Attorney General. The companies have been accused of cheating their drivers out of pay and benefits. Under the settlement, drivers will also be guaranteed minimum hourly rates and paid sick leaves. The Attorney General has called it the largest wage theft settlement in her office's history. America's United Auto Workers Union has said that it will launch organizing drives at Toyota, Tesla and other non-union U.S. auto factories. This comes days after Toyota offered pay and benefits to its non-union workers. UAW President Shawn Fain has said that the union will capitalize on its success in bargaining with the Detroit 3 automakers. The union recently reached labor deals with Ford, Stellantis and General Motors after over a month of strikes. Walmart Foundation has pledged $1 million to an Israeli disaster relief and emergency medical service organization. The Walmart Foundation is the philanthropy arm of the U.S. retailer Walmart. The company joins other corporations like UBS and Goldman Sachs, who have also pledged to aid Israel. Shares of Starbucks soared 10% on Thursday after the coffee giant posted upbeat quarterly results. The company also gave an upbeat profit forecast. It said that the demand for its pricey coffees remains strong despite sticky inflation. This was helped by the return of the famous pumpkin spiced latte and other autumn-themed drinks. Apple reported better-than-expected quarterly results on Thursday. However, its shares fell by 3% after the results were announced. This was due to a bleak sales forecast for the upcoming quarter. The forecast was dragged down by sinking demand for iPads and wearable devices like the Apple Watch. Elon Musk has asked a U.S. federal judge not to force him to testify in a Twitter probe. America's Securities and Exchange Commission is probing Musk's $44 billion takeover of Twitter, which is now known as X. The SEC has said that Musk had refused to attend a September interview for the probe. Musk's attorney has said that the regulator's probe had crossed a line into harassment. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has said that governments and artificial intelligence companies have reached an agreement. This is to test new AI models before they are released. He said this during the two-day AI Safety Summit in Britain. During the summit, he also held a one-on-one talk with Elon Musk. They spoke about steps to manage the risks arising from cutting-edge AI models. Moving to sports, let's start with the updates from the Cricket World Cup. India beat Sri Lanka by 302 runs in yesterday's match. The men in blue batted first and scored 357 runs in their innings. Virat Kohli, Shubman Gill and Shreyas Iyer scored half-centuries for India. Sri Lankan batters were unable to play against India's pace attack. They were bowled out for just 55 runs in the 19th over. India have now qualified for the Cricket World Cup semi-final. Indian pacers Mohammad Shami and Mohammad Siraj recorded exceptional performances against Sri Lanka in yesterday's match. Veteran Shami took a 5-wicket haul in his spell of just 5 overs. Siraj joined him in collapsing Sri Lanka's batting order by taking 3 wickets. Indian batter Shreyas Iyer has set a new record in last night's match. Iyer smashed Sri Lankan pacer Kasun Rajitha for a massive 6 in the 36th over. Officials measured the distance of the shot to be 106 meters, making it the longest 6 of this year's World Cup. Iyer went on to score 82 runs in just 56 balls. England cricket players were seen using inhalers in India's national capital, New Delhi. This is due to the poor air quality in the city. All-rounder Ben Stokes, who already has asthma, said he was having trouble breathing during their practice session. Moving to football, striker Rodrigo has extended his contract with Real Madrid until 2028. The financial details of the new contract have not been disclosed. Rodrigo joined the La Liga club in 2019 for a reported fee of over $47 million. He has scored 39 goals in 179 appearances for Real Madrid. Brazil forward Neymar has undergone a successful knee surgery. Neymar has ruptured his ACL during a World Cup qualifier between Brazil and Uruguay last month. According to medical officials, Neymar will take several months to recover and will not be seen in action till mid-2024. Liverpool striker Luis Diaz's parents have been kidnapped by an armed rebel group in Colombia. Colombia's National Liberation Army rebels have claimed responsibility. The footballer's mother has been released, but his father remains in the custody of the kidnappers. The Colombian government has deployed special forces to rescue Diaz's father. The motive behind the kidnapping remains unclear. In tennis, world number 1 Novak Djokovic has reached the quarterfinals at the Paris Masters. Serbia's Djokovic lost the first set but rallied hard to beat his Dutch opponent 7-6, 6-4. He will next face world number 6 Olga Rune of Denmark. World number 7 Ons Jabeur says she will donate a part of her F WTA finals prize money to Palestinians in Gaza. The Tunisian says that the current situation in Gaza has really upset her. Jabeur clarified that she was not taking a political stance but was standing up for humanity. In hockey, India beat South Korea 5-0 at the Women's Asian Champions Trophy last night. Salima Tete scored twice for India. The other goals came from the sticks of Navneet Kaur, Vandana Kataria and Neha. India will face South Korea again in the semi-final tomorrow. Now for news from the entertainment world. The legendary band The Beatles have released their final song. It's called Now and Then. The song features the late John Lennon's voice thanks to some help from artificial intelligence. Lennon wrote and recorded the song in the 1970s. The late George Harrison had recorded guitar music for the song before he passed. The two remaining Beatles, Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr, worked on the song's production in recent years. The video of the song will release today. Meanwhile, AI has led to a deadlock in negotiations to end the Hollywood actors' strike. An agreement on AI remains elusive and continues to frustrate both actors and studios. Disagreements persist over generative AI's impact on actors. The Hollywood actors' strike has now reached its day 112. Actor Alan Ruck has spoken out after his truck crashed into a pizza shop. Ruck said that he's grateful that he's alive and no one else is dead either. The actor was involved in a multi-vehicle collision in Los Angeles. The collision led to his electric truck crashing into a pizza parlor on October 31st. South Korean band BTS's singer Jungkook has spoken out about being called a global star. Jungkook says that he's grateful but also embarrassed. He says he needs to work harder than before now. Jungkook is being hailed as a global star after collaborating with Western artists like Latto and Jack Harlow. Director Nia Costa has explained why she cast South Korean actor Park Jun in the upcoming film. Da Costa says she was impressed by Park Jun's performance in the K-drama titled Itaewon Class. Da Costa is the director of the upcoming movie The Marvels. This will be the South Korean actor's debut in the Marvel universe. Actor Al Pacino has been ordered to pay a monthly child support to his former girlfriend Noor Al-Falah. He will have to pay $110,000 up front and $30,000 monthly. This comes after Al-Falah filed for physical custody of their child in September. The former couple became parents in June this year. Actor Robert De Niro's girlfriend Tiffany Chen is supporting her partner in his ongoing gender discrimination trial. De Niro's former assistant Graham Chase Robinson has accused him of sexist comments and behavior. Chen testified that whatever De Niro asked his assistant to do was within professional reasoning. Chen went on to call Robinson mean-spirited. Singer Dua Lipa has repurchased the rights of her songs from her old publisher. The publisher, Tap Music, has confirmed the news. The rights were sold to Dua Lipa after a year of her leaving the firm. American singer Steven Tyler has been accused of alleged sexual assault again. A former teen model has accused the singer over an incident that happened in the 1970s. She alleged that the Aerosmith frontman groped her and molested her. Last year, another woman had accused Tyler of sexually assaulting her in the 1970s. 12-time Grammy Award winner Dolly Parton has revealed why she never performed at the Super Bowl halftime shows. Parton says she didn't think she was big enough to do a production that large. However, she is now considering doing the Super Bowl halftime show after the release of her first rock album. That's all for this episode of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to First Post.